Reed.
This afternoon, we're at Cleveland Stadium for another showdown between two teams that met for the AFC title in 86, 87, and 89. It's the Denver Broncos and the Cleveland Browns in a crucial matchup for both teams. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Joel Myers alongside Dan Hampton, and welcome to balmy Cleveland Stadium. Game time temperature 57 degrees. The Denver Broncos, Dan, coming off a very impressive performance, especially on the offensive side. And for the first time in 6 weeks, quarterback John Elway calling his plays once again.
Well, he did call the plays, and he kept it very basic with the selection and the personnel grouping, so they were very effective. And Clarence Kay said, hey, this is stuff we've run for 6 and 7 years. And, hey, they had a great day. I think it's important that he is calling his plays because he's not going to ask that bad shoulder to do something it can't do. So it's a big plus that he's going to call him today.
The Broncos have won the toss. Montgomery is back deep, believe it or not, along with Bobby Humphrey. Normally it's Derek Russell, but Russell is going to get the start at wide receiver today, so Bobby Humphrey back. Along with Alton Montgomery. Montgomery will keep it in the end zone. And that's where it begins at Cleveland Stadium. Offensive line for the Denver Broncos. Very, very experienced group, adding Crawford Kerr in their carts in the middle, and Ken Lanier making his 113th consecutive start at right tackle. Green and Perriman in the backfield, Young and Russell the wideouts, and Kay is the tight end. And now Greg Lewis in the backfield. First call of the day. Forget it. He doesn't even make it back. Yes, just barely makes it back to the line of scrimmage. Matthews and Brown, the two linebackers in on that stop. Three young pups surrounding Michael Dean Perry, Sango Pulitelli, James Jones, and Ernie Logan. Joining Brandon, Brown, and Matthews, the linebackers. Michael Dean sparks that defensive front seven. Minifield and Hilliard at the corners, and Turner and Newsom, the two safeties. We'll be watching some sensational safeties this afternoon. Two tight end set. Lone back Greg Lewis. Elway is throwing on 2nd and 10. Looking for the tight end, and it's Shannon Sharp for the first down. What a grab. He knew he was going to get hit, Dan.
Well, he did. He went up, and he made sure he caught the ball. When you go across the middle, you're going to get hit, so the best thing to do is make sure you catch the ball. You're going to pay the price, you know, irregardless if you drop it. So anyway, we're looking here at Elway. He's got great protection with the two tight ends. Sharp gets down the middle, splits a seam. There, the safety, Turner, did not go for the kill shot, rather going for the ball. Sometimes you got to make a play for the ball. Sometimes you try to knock it out of his hands.
First down from the 44 of Denver. Elway on the quick one to Michael Young. And the reception good for just about 8 yards. Young, the leading receiver. Already a career best in receptions this year. He came over from the Los Angeles Rams, and what a great possession receiver he has turned out to be in an insurance policy with the injuries. Vance Johnson had his problems earlier, and now Mark Jackson out for the year. So what a bonus to have a dependable one like Michael Young.
Well, not only that, but they're starting a rookie on the other side, Derek Russell, so Young will have to have a big day today.
Gaston Green weaving his way for the first down to the 45 of Cleveland.
I think Elway is trying to keep that young defensive line off balance here early. He comes out with a two tight end set, pounds a little bit, then throws it across the middle, slows him down, then all of a sudden, here he comes back on attack that line right at it. Michael Dean getting a single block, which you won't see very often. They were able to create a little seam there and get the first down.
Dan, that's one of the real interesting matchups early today. Those three rookie defensive linemen up against a very experienced offensive line for Elway and the Broncos. First down from the Cleveland 45. Inside give, Gaston Green barely tripped up. Gets a little more than 4 on the carry as he's put down by David Brandon and Eric Turner. And this is to be expected.
Well, you know, there's been such a storied traditional type of a contest between these two teams for the last 10 years or so, and even before that. But the thing is, there is bad blood. And we talked to Clay Matthews yesterday. I think he was playing super at right outside linebacker. I said, do you guys ever think about the drive and the fumble and those games that you lost to Denver in the playoffs. He said, hey, if they don't bring it up, we won't bring it up. But what that tells me is, sure, they think about it all the time.
Call it 2nd and 6 from the 41. Elway with plenty of time going deep, looking for Russell and batted away. Randy Hilliard getting back in time.
Hilliard made a great move there, going for the ball, not worrying about the receiver. The ball actually hits him on top of the helmet. Here he reads Elway, doesn't buy it on the out. He turns and runs. Now you'll see him look back at the ball right there, and it hits him in the head.
It's a way to use your noggin.
Hey, who said this guy can't use his head?
3rd and 6. The Broncos, one of the most efficient teams in the NFL, hitting on better than 40% of their third down tries this year. It comes from the Cleveland 41. Pressure, Elway's hit, it's loose. And I believe Steve Sewell covered the ball. Clay Matthews got in, along with Michael Dean.
Well, they lined up in a 3-man line front. Clay Matthews lined up inside as a linebacker, ran a stunt around the outside right edge, came unblocked, able to hit Elway right on that bad shoulder. Now, not only is that a great play for the defense, but it's a bad play on Elway's shoulder. You'll see him. He comes around the outside. He's unblocked. The guard unable to get out there to pick him up. That's the kind of plays Clay Matthews makes every game.
Mike Moran in to put it away to Webster Slaughter, waiting back at the Cleveland 10. The wobbler, a low one. Slaughter, can he beat the first man? No. Great coverage by Shannon Sharp downfield. So Cleveland will have the ball for the first time at their own 11-yard line. We'll be right back to take a look at the Browns offense for the first time. No scores so far at Cleveland Stadium. They're on their feet at Cleveland Stadium, and Browns fans will always remember the Denver Broncos and John Elway as the team that kept them from 3 Super Bowl appearances following the 86, 87, and 89 seasons. First down for Cleveland. Their own 11-yard line. Bernie trying to get out of a hole. He's hit as he releases it. It's an incompletion. Just got his arm ahead in time as he's hit by Ron Holmes.
Well, Holmes just ran by the left guard, number 70, John Greenstra. And I tell you what, if Bernie is to get protection, they have got to get those big guys in the middle blocked. Now, if you've got a double, you've got a double. But that was not a good way to start out a game for Bernie Kosar, because if he gets protection, he can pick you apart. But if he starts getting pressure up the middle, and that's where he can't take it, is right up his face. He can get out of the pocket, he can move around, but if you get it right up the gut, he's going to have a problem.
2nd and 10. Browns 11. Kevin Mack breaking tackles. Short of the first down by a couple. He's up past the 19-yard line. Just barely tripped up by the safety, Steve Atwater. And we look around the NFL on the 10-minute ticker. Nothing doing offensively so far. So now the first 3rd down of the contest coming up for the Browns.
Well, one thing Kosar said he's going to have to watch is those inside linebackers getting up and blitzing those 1 and 3 gaps between the center guard, and tackle. That's what he's watching today. Will
it be Horde? Will it be Mack? Or will Bernie throw out of the shotgun? He's got Mack and he wants the inside give. It'll be a pass for Kosar to Webster Slaughter for the first down to the 25.
Well, on that play there, they brought Brooks, the middle linebacker, up into the gap. Bernie counters with a quick slant. So that's the thing about Kosar. If he can see the blitz, he can adjust. You'll see the quick slant here. Good pass, good reception.
Well, you were talking about that pressure up the middle is something that Bernie discussed with us yesterday. Churning the rush to the outside, so he's a clear field of vision. He said that's one thing that Bill Belichick has done a great job with the offensive linemen.
Well, Hal Hunter is offensive line coach, and he stresses that. Shield Bernie's view. Don't block his view.
Kevin Mack with flags on the play. Normally where you see a holding call, it was thrown by the umpire. Close to a first down, but let's find out about the flag. And it is a hold against Cleveland.
In the area they threw the flag, it looks like someone on the right side. The right guard is rookie Ed King, number 68. A lot of times those rooks, some of those vets are checking out early.
61 offense.
It'll be the
Still
center.
first down.
Center Mike Babb, who will have to play well today to control this nose tackle that he's playing against Cragen. I think Cragen has played outstanding this year, and that's going to be the real key. How well the two guards and the center do against the nose and the two inside linebackers for the Denver defense, because that's where they're the strongest, right up the middle.
It'll be 1st and 20 now from the 15, 9:05 left in the first 15 minutes of play. Joel Myers along with Dan Hampton. Unusual conditions, to say the least. Close to 60 degrees today in Cleveland. Pressure on Kozar, setting up the screen, and it's tipped by the rushing Greg Cragen. One of the most underrated players in the NFL, the nose tackle for the Denver Broncos. And let's look at that front seven now for Denver in their 3-4 alignment. Cragen in the middle between Sauché and Holmes. Sauché, a nice find for the Miami Dolphins. Fletcher, Brooks, Mecklenburg, and Mills. Mills getting the start. Second straight miss for rookie Mike Kroll. Braxton Henderson, the cornerbacks, and the safeties, Dennis Smith and Steve Atwater, for defensive coordinator Wade Phillips, who we look at now on the sideline. Bernie, 1 of 3 so far. Looking at 2nd and 20 now from the 15. Problems again, and a sack for Denver, and Greg Cragen gets it. You love his motor, don't you?
Oh, you got to like a guy like this. Every year he comes to training camp, he's made Pro Bowls, and every year he comes to training camp, he goes, man, I got to really play well in camp so I won't be cut. I mean, he just loves to play the game, and you've got to think that it's great to see a guy like that being able to come out and dominate early in the game, because it's important to him. You know, when you talk to some of the defensive coaches for the Broncos, they say, hey, this guy is an Iron Man. Not only does he make great plays, but he never gets hurt. He's always in there making something happen for us.
You saw that stat, 40 sacks now. Those 44th best in the league. Tops, though, in the AFC. So now 3rd and 27. And the snap, direct snap to Mack. Kevin Mack to the outside. Can he get to the first down? Yes, he does. Now they're pointing him out of bounds at the 35. He had to go across the 35. He may be short by the length of the football.
Well, yesterday we talked to Carl Mecklenburg. Usually he rushes on the outside. Well, they switched him to right tackle. You'll see they run a quick trap. Fab, the center, kicks him out. Mack runs right through the middle and breaks through the linebackers and gets the first down. Now, I talked with Carl and I said, hey, you've got to be smart to play inside there, because they can trap, they can do all those different things. Now, Carl's a smart guy, but that was good by Cleveland to catch him in a position he hasn't played very much this year.
Brian Hansen punting it back to Vance Johnson. Hansen with a high one. Johnson back at the 16. Horde, the first one down there. Leroy Horde, and also Brian Kinchin. And Bill Belichick was telling us yesterday, our special teams coverage with a flag down in the play, but our special teams coverage was outstanding last week at Indianapolis. Let's find out about the flag, though, with our referee, Johnny Greer.
Illegal block. 38. Receiving team after the kick. Be a 10-yard penalty. First down.
So the Denver Broncos will have it back. No score when we return with 7:59 left in the first. The man who gave that name to this stadium, Hanford Dixon, who retired last year from the NFL. He's been honored before today's game, and we're talking to Frank Minifield, his partner in the secondary for so many years with Hanford Dixon. And we asked Frank yesterday, what about that dog pound? He said, well, now that Hanford's gone, we willed the dog pound to the state, and we didn't charge the state a thing. He said we gave them something very valuable, though. The dog pound here at Cleveland Stadium.
Well, I think it's great. You know, we came here a couple of times and lost on Monday night, and that dog pound was a big factor. They make a lot of racket, and heck, it may be the best thing to ever happen to the dog world since the rabies vaccination. What can I say? I mean, that's anything that gets the fans into it, that's super.
There's no score. Midway through the first quarter of play. And now, Denver back in a hole, starting the same way basically Cleveland did. Cleveland started the drive at their own 11. Now Denver at their own 9-yard line. Green. Nothing doing. A yard, and that is it to the 10. It was a tough day last Sunday for Gaston Green. Only 7 yards on 14 carries. But Dan Reeves told us Gaston really never got into the flow of the game because of the way the personnel was being shifted in and out and some of the way the plays were being called.
Well, that's the thing. You know, Elway has a great feel for the game, and more importantly than the play to him is the personnel grouping. Now he's got 2 backs, 1 tight end, 2 wide receivers. It's a very basic set. We'll see what he wants to do with that group.
The delay for Gaston Green. He's across the 15, out to the 16, short of the first down by a little less than 3 yards. And who would have believed at this point of the season that the Denver Broncos would be 8th best at running the ball, 19th best, though, throwing the ball with quarterback John Elway.
You know, sometimes you think about Denver and you think, well, that's a finesse team. You know, they throw the ball, they got all those little nifty receivers. But they have quietly become a little bit more of a power team. They've got bigger linemen. They've got a great blocking back in Perriman. And they've got 3 guys that can really carry the ball. So they have quietly become a running team.
Elway out of the shotgun on 3rd and 3. The third down specialist, Steve Sewell, won't pick up the first down. Eric Turner coming up on the run support, the rookie from UCLA. Their first-round draft choice, 2nd overall selection.
Well, you'll see Eric up on the line of scrimmage, filling inside there between the tackle and the end. It's important today for the safeties to help force the run because they're playing with 3 rookies, 3 pure rookies starting on that defensive line along with Michael Dean Perry. So those safeties will walk up and try and help stop that running game.
Well, Dan, the Browns thought they had stopped him, but actually they put the point of the ball on the 19, so he does have the first down, just barely. Play action for Elway. The dump for Shannon Sharp. And he's diving, stretching for the marker. It's tough when you've got a defensive lineman like Songa Pulitelli falling on you at the end of the play, who goes at 6'6", 300 pounds. Shannon Sharp doing a good job, getting just about 9 yards on that reception. Not a big day offensively so far around the NFL. As we look at the 10-minute ticker. And a field goal for the Patriots. An early lead for New England.
Well, Elway has brought in a different personnel grouping, so we're going to see a different look here from the offense.
2nd and short, 2nd, call it 2. First option not available, and a sack and a loose ball picked up by the lineman. Keith Karts has it and takes it across the 29-yard line.
Well, they went with 3 receivers, 1 back, 1 tight end. They weren't able to protect as well with that group. Here, they wanted to go with something quick. They walked up and got good coverage on the guy, bouncing him at the line of scrimmage. Give up the sack.
That's a rookie sandwich, too. Ernie Logan, the rookie from East Carolina, with Songa Pulitelli, the rookie from San Diego State.
And if you've got a bad shoulder, Joel, you don't want to be taking these kind of hits early in the game. You want to keep that thing loose and try to get at least into the 2nd, 3rd, 4th quarter before you start getting some pounding on it.
Very alert play by the center, Keith Karts, to pick it up and pick up the first down. Greg Lewis. From behind, the linebacker got to him, Clay Matthews.
Well, I think what they're doing right now, Joel, is Cleveland saying, hey, we're going to challenge you everywhere you want to go. We're going to get on the line of scrimmage. We're going to bang on your receivers. We're going to attack. We're going to blitz our linebackers. We're going to make you do something you don't want to do to beat us. And that is go back and throw the ball deep and have Elway test that arm early.
Well, it's got to help John Elway with these balmy conditions. Last week, he played in 23-degree conditions back at Mile High Stadium in Denver, but it's close to 60 degrees today at Cleveland Stadium. John is 3 of 4 so far. A total of 40 yards. Deep pitch to Gaston Green. Goes nowhere.
Well, James Jones, the rookie, who last week caught an interception and ran for a touchdown, is showing the kind of speed that you look for in a defensive lineman. You know, we're talking with Belichick. He says, I love this young group of defensive linemen. I said, it's the guys that you can win with 3 and 4 years from now. He says, hey, I expect to win with them right now because they've got a lot of talent and they've got great hearts. They want to be great players. And I don't care who you've got. If you put him out there on the field next to Michael Dean Perry, they're going to play a lot better than they normally would with someone else.
Broncos had a touchdown in the first quarter last Sunday for only the second time this season. The blitz is coming from the outside. Elway eludes it. And it's intercepted by the linebacker. Figueroa out of Notre Dame, and Cleveland, the best in the NFL in the plus-minus ratio, has a turnover early. But there is a flag down. Cedric Figueroa in his fourth year from Notre Dame.
Number 83. It's declined. First down.
And the Browns have the ball in Bronco territory.
Well, I talked about, hey, we're going to challenge you. Well, they did. They brought Hilliard the corner off the left side. You'll see him blitz here. Elway able to get outside of the pocket. But here, we talked about earlier, hey, he doesn't feel as confident throwing on the run with that bad shoulder. He can't put the same kind of zip on it. Denver's challenging pretty tough here.
So a big opportunity coming up for the Browns when we return. First down for the Browns at the Broncos 37 after the interception by Figueroa. And Bernie going up top. He's got Horde on his way. He has been exceptional as a receiver out of the backfield, and he's got a first down, finally pulled down by Mecklenburg.
Leroy Horde, every time you get the ball in his hands, is going to make something big happen. We saw it last week. And Kozar knows if he can strike now and turn this turnover into something good for the Browns, they can get some kind of a roll going. And he goes to the guy that's made big play after big play this year, Leroy Horde.
Physically, they look similar when you look at 33 Horde and 34 Mack, but that's where it stops because Mack likes to run over people. Horde likes to make the miss.
And he made somebody miss then.
First down outside the 10. It's Kevin Mack. And he is throttled. He wanted to get back to the line of scrimmage. Holmes there with Greg Cragen. When I said to Kevin yesterday, you like to bang on people, you like to run over people, he goes, well, it's back to my college days. I played at Clemson for Coach Danny Ford, and he didn't like guys that danced a lot. In fact, he liked straight ahead, hard runners when we were talking to Kevin Mack. And, you know, it goes back to what you've told me before. BYOB, Dan. Be your own blocker, and Kevin Mack believes in that.
Well, Lou Holtz was the same way. He says, you run on Saturday afternoon, you dance Saturday night.
Second and 10 from the 12. Pocket holding up for Bernie. Has a man inside the 5. It's complete. Is it Langhorne? Yes, Reggie Langhorne with the reception. Put down by Tyrone Braxton.
Well, they got that Denver pass rush slowed down there. And Bernie was able to get the ball out here on a pretty good pattern here. Now, I don't understand exactly why Bernie is trying to come out here and throw the ball early. I think that if he's going to be able to dominate this defense, they're going to have to go ahead and run it. But I tell you what, I just think that he's going to go ahead and try to make anything he can possible by getting it into the end zone. Then we'll probably see that ground attack. But Bernie looks very sharp so far.
In the final minute of the first 15 minutes of play, third and a couple. Mack straight ahead. Is he in? Yes. Touchdown, Cleveland. Say about pounding the ball?
Well, I just think that for Denver to control the Denver defense, you're going to have to show them that you can pound the ball up inside. And this guy right here may be as good as you can get in the league. Mack is a Mack truck. I mean, it's a redundancy to talk about it, but this guy can carry some mail. He can carry bodies. He can carry anybody into the end zone.
The play was ruled a touchdown on the field. It's being reviewed by replay.
Well, they're going to look to see if his knee went down before the ball broke the play into the goal line. Very close. You know, pretty soon we may see Kevin Mack in those tractor pulls. He's tough.
Well, after further review, the play stands. Touchdown.
Thank you, Johnny Greer.
Well, if tractor pull was an Olympic sport, he could probably compete. This guy might win the gold because he's as good as you can get, handing it off about 3-4 yards deep and having him pound it in.
Stover in for the extra point. And just gets it inside the upright. So the best in the NFL at taking the ball away from the opposition does exactly that and turns it into 7 points. Cleveland Stadium. Classic confrontations every time these two teams get together, and the Cleveland Browns with an early lead over the Denver Broncos. Joel Myers along with Dan Hampton and Bill Belichick and his squad trying to get to the 500 mark and keep their wild card playoff hopes alive. Stover getting into it. Montgomery and Humphrey waiting back at the goal line. It'll be Montgomery. Good return by Alton Montgomery, the defensive back, to the 29-yard line. Be right back to Cleveland. Let's go to New York now and an update with Bob Costas.
Joel, earlier in the first quarter, a Houston drive died at the Pittsburgh 7 when Alan Pinkett fumbled. Here he completes another drive, this one successful, with a 7-yard touchdown run. Houston, which clinches the AFC Central with a victory here, leads 7-0 in the first quarter. Joel?
Well, Bob, you're talking about Houston trying to clinch the AFC Central today. The Broncos can lock up a wild card spot in the playoffs with a win today and a loss by either Miami or the Jets, as New York faces Detroit this afternoon, a little bit later at the Silverdome, while the Dolphins host the Bengals tomorrow night. Now, an early confrontation, John Elway, Dan, against Michael Dean Perry. That hard count of Elway has, in seasons past, picked up Perry a little bit too early on the snap count. He's over-anticipated.
Well, Michael Dean has exceptional quickness, and what he likes to do is anticipate that snap count and attack those gaps and split it and make something happen in the backfield. Well, now he's not asked to do the same thing. He's more or less the guy to give stability out there around those rookies. But late in the game, look for Elway to really go to that hard count and try to draw him off.
First down for the Broncos from their own 29. Pressuring it, Perry. And what a grab by Derek Russell, going up high to get it just across the 35-yard line. The rookie from Arkansas, their 4th-round draft choice. And that will be the final play of the first quarter. So we've got a battle brewing early today at Cleveland Stadium, and the Browns lead Elway and the Broncos by 7. The second quarter with a 2nd and 4. The ball outside of the 35 for Elway and the Broncos, trailing by 7. Play action for Elway. He can run for the first down, and he will. He's got the first down across the 40, stepping out of bounds near the 44-yard line as we look at the first quarter numbers. And almost identical except for the turnover. That's one of the things that was so important for the Cleveland Browns last Sunday. 24 of their 31 points, Dan, the direct result of Indianapolis turnovers.
Well, I think the thing that has really turned Cleveland around this year so much is the fact that they are getting the turnovers that they normally do, but they've not given the ball away. Last year they lost the ball 46 times. So far this year, only 11. And when they get the ball from the other team, they make something happen.
First down. Gaston Green. Thought he had a big hole. It closed in a hurry. James Jones. The solo stops. The rookie from Northern Iowa told me yesterday he had that touchdown run on the interception. And it just so happened he had a busload of family and friends. 50 people drove from Davenport, Iowa to Indianapolis for the game. Talk about thrill of thrills for a rookie. We look at the starter 10-minute ticker. And Dallas with an early lead, trying to hand the Saints their 4th straight loss. 2nd and 8. The ball at the 46. With time, has a man, Shannon Sharp, for the first down in Cleveland territory, inside the 35 to the Browns 33. Pinpoint passing.
Well, right now, Denver's doing a little bit better job getting that rush stop. You'll see they're sliding to their right, creating some problems for that rush. Elway getting more time now, able to find somebody a little bit off the line of scrimmage. Early on, he didn't have any time.
Last year, he was Sterling's little brother. We're not talking about that anymore. Shannon Sharp in his second year from Savannah State. First down at the 33 yards in the reception for Sharp. Gaston Green sliding his way over to the right side. Gets close to 4, down to the 30-yard line.
Well, Denver's getting down into that end zone where it's been resided. It's a little bit muddy. You'll see they're running this long trap. Guys aren't moving just as quick. Denver's having a little bit of a problem getting those big bodies moved off of that muddy surface. I think Gaston Green is a great guy when he can run on a semi-fast field, especially AstroTurf. But in this mud, you may have to go with a bigger guy, a bigger, stronger guy like Lewis or Humphreys.
Lewis is in the backfield now. Call it 2nd and 7. The bullet in and out of the hands of the wide receiver Vance Johnson. Does anybody throw the ball harder than John Elway?
Well, you talk about that shoulder. If he's got it loose, he says he can still gun the ball pretty good, and we saw it there. He threw a major league fastball. You're going to take a look here at the pit. You'll see 92 Michael Dean. Here he is working against Crawford Kerr, the left guard. He's trying to get up the field. That's what Elway has to have. It's crucial for any quarterback, especially these two guys. Kozar and Elway can kill you if you give them time.
John is now 6 of 8, looking to 3rd and 7. The pocket holds up well. Elway's got a man. Touchdown, Michael Young in Denver.
Well, there shouldn't be no question about Elway's arm and what he can do with it today. On 3rd down, he likes to call certain plays that he has a lot of confidence in. That streak pattern is one that he feels like he can score with at will. He catches Young on the streak, gets good protection, throws a perfect ball. You'll see he was looking left. They run a double zone there where they try to run those safeties off, and then you'll see Turner trying to get back there late, unable to get it back and make a play on the ball.
So Elway now 7 of 9 for 92 yards. Fast start for the Denver quarterback. He threw for better than 200 yards. Found Michael Young in the end zone as Treadwell gets into it. And it's now all even in Cleveland on the touchdown pass by John Elway to Michael Young. You're right back to Cleveland Stadium. Size 14 cleat had an opportunity to take a look at this field. You can see it sinking in. Dan, you're in the end zone area. Tough footing between the hash marks, but for a Gaston Green, maybe a little bit better to the outside.
Well, there's no doubt that it favors the bigger, stronger athlete. And, you know, I've walked on harder brownies before. I mean, this stuff's a big, gooey mess out there. But I think you've got to go with the big guys that can power. And maybe Denver needs to go with a little bit more of a power back if they're going to run the ball.
Joe Morris back with Lynn James. Will it go out of bounds? It's loose. It does finally get out of bounds after it was touched by Morris. And the Denver player down to the special teams who is hurt right now, Alton Montgomery. Or was it Vance Johnson? It's Alton Montgomery down there early. Number 22. That was helmet on helmet almost. You can't blame Joe Morris for trying to find out whether it was going to go out of bounds, because then they would get the ball at the 35-yard line. Now, Dan Reeves told me yesterday that is by design now. Those little pooch kicks by David Treadwell trying to pin the return man to the boundary.
Well, if you don't have a guy that can kick it out of the end zone, then you don't want to give them a perfect fly ball to catch and set the return. So they'll keep the return team off balance by pooching it out between the numbers and the out of bounds. But if you hit it in there between the numbers, the return team can pretty much do what they want to do. So that's something they're working on right now.
So now back in a hole. It's the Cleveland offense getting the ball once again. And we remind you, at the conclusion of today's game, we'll be presenting the Avis We Try Harder Award. It'll be given to the game's MVP. And a la Sam Weiss and the Cincinnati Bengals, the Browns huddle on the sideline for each possession, a start of each possession, and then bring out their personnel. Bernie throwing once again. And wide open, Webster Slaughter drops it at the 32. Tough to let one get away like that.
Well, we talked with Bernie yesterday, and we talked about how Bill Belichick, the head coach, likes to practice in the rain. They have an indoor workout facility, but they go outside in the rain so that they can catch the ball in bad conditions. Now, today, it's perfect conditions, as you see there. Webster just took his eye off the ball, getting ready for the contact. But, I mean, he goes as far as soaking balls in water, putting Vaseline on them. And I think it's smart because you can see the drastic turnover ratio decline this year.
2nd and 10 at the 15. Kevin Mack, big hole over the left side. And He's got close to 8 on the carry. So it'll be 3rd and short when we come back to Cleveland. But another update with Bob Costas.
Trailing 7-0, Joel, the Chiefs drive back into San Diego territory, but then watch this. Here's Donald Frank picking off the Steve DeBerg pass, and the second-year free agent signee out of Winston-Salem State sprints 71 yards untouched. Nobody had a crack at him. Touchdown. And San Diego now with a 14-0 lead in the second at KC.
Oh, Bob, those cheers we heard in the background all the way from Denver, Colorado. Denver started the day tied with the Raiders, but only a game up on Kansas City in the Western Division. 3rd and short, and Bernie out of the shotgun. Has his man, Langhorne, for the first down across the 35.
Well, Langhorne is a guy that is very nifty. He likes to go inside. He doesn't mind getting in there in that traffic, getting bounced around. But Kosar is very good at you shield his view where he can see down the middle. There, you didn't see any kind of push up the middle. He is able to spot Langhorne and get the ball to him.
Now, what about the sidearm action as Langhorne took that in? Because Carl Mecklenburg mentioned to us yesterday, we really feel like we can get some tip balls.
Well, you didn't see any hands go up. If they're going to get tip balls, they got to try. They got to get those arms up.
First down from outside the 35. Langhorne. Great recognition by the cornerback, Wyman Henderson. And a loss on the play of a little more than a yard.
Well, Denver's going to do some different things today. They're going to mix some zone. They're going to mix some man-to-man. Lyman was getting ready to roll up and get a bump on that corner, out of the corner, and able to go ahead and make a quick play on the receiver. But Wade Phillips, the defensive coordinator, has done a marvelous job with this group this year, mixing coverages, moving fronts, creating mismatches with his linebackers. And I tell you what, it's tough to score against Denver on any given day.
Second, solid just about 11. Pocket holding up for Bernie. Over the middle, Slaughter hangs on this time for the first down. He's near the midfield stripe. Bernie's not always pretty, but he gets the job done.
Well, we're not going to enter him in a beauty contest, but I tell you what, if you rated the best quarterbacks in the league, I guarantee you he would be mentioned. Here you don't see any pressure in his face. He's able to spot the receiver. Now, we talked about that field a few minutes ago, how if you've got big, strong guys, they have an advantage. They're able to get that defensive line of Denver stopped at the line of scrimmage. Denver's got some great pass rushers, but they're quick speed guys. You get them out here on this fudge, they can't move.
First down from the 49 of Cleveland. Powering his way just about 4 to the 47 of Denver. The hit made by the strong safety Dennis Smith. Nice compliment in the backfield, the power of Mack, the deceptive moves of Leroy Horde.
And when they get Metcalf back, they could have a very potent running attack. They'll have the weapons to do anything they want to do, inside, outside, be able to throw the ball to Horde. So I think Belichick has done a marvelous job of not only rebuilding, but they're doing it so quickly.
He's been the only one to carry the ball so far for the Browns. Pressure coming on Kosar. He's in trouble. Barely got it away in time. Looking for the tight end, Scott Galbraith. But he avoided a sack and a loss.
Well, there you saw 77, Carl Mecklenburg, coming up the middle, and that's what creates problems for Kosar. He sees those guys coming up and blitzing right up the middle here. You'll see in the middle of your screen, Mecklenburg. Now, they've got him on Mack. Now, that's a mismatch. Even as big as Mack is at 230, Carl Mecklenburg goes over 250. That's a mismatch. Denver will take this every time. You'll see Mecklenburg go ahead and ram him and then rip and able to flush Kosar out of the pocket.
So now 3rd and 6 for Bernie and the Browns. Tied at 7. Pocket holds up this time. Brennan went to the sideline. The ball over the middle. So a breakdown in communication there as Bernie took a hit at the end from Mecklenburg.
Well, I think this guy is the ringleader of the Denver defense, and they're playing super this year, but he's having, I think, his best year. We saw him come up the middle last time. Now he's working against a big guy, Tony Jones. He gets upfield and turns, and now you see how when he turns that corner, he's slipping and sliding and not really able to turn it. Well, that's the advantage to the big guy. If he was on turf, Tony would have no chance, but on this mud, Mecklenburg's going to have to work hard to get there.
Hansen will punt it away. Vance Johnson waiting back at the Denver 10. A high wobbler and a fair catch called for and taken in cleanly by Johnson at the 15-yard line. So the Broncos will have it back when we return to Cleveland Stadium, all tied up at 7 apiece. The dog pound out in force today at Cleveland Stadium. Joel Myers along with Dan Hampton. It's even at 7 between the Browns and Broncos. Worst to first last year in the turnover ratio. Cleveland Browns worst in the NFL. Best so far this season. Gaston Green wrapped up in a hurry across the 15, only a yard to the 16-yard line. We asked Bill Belichick yesterday, and Dan, you specifically asked him his philosophy going in with a new team, his first head coaching job, and he said, foremost, being very aggressive and very, very physical.
Well, I just think that his philosophy kind of mirrors what Parcells had in New York, and you develop that, but he says, I believe in balanced offense and being aggressive, challenging people, and that's what we're seeing here today. I see Cleveland getting up there right in the face of the Denver offense saying, hey, see what you can do against this.
2nd and 9 from the 16. Delay for Green. The Browns stayed at home. Just about 4 on the carry to the 20. It'll bring up 3rd and 5.
Well, Clay Matthews fell back from his outside right linebacker position. When he hit the ground, he was pointing back. It looks like he was saying, hey, Clarence Kay is holding me. We'll watch 57 here at the right of your screen. Now, he's working against Clarence Kay. They're jacking each other up pretty good. And now you'll see Kay grabbing him and tackling him there. Now watch Clay say, hey, man, get him off of me.
He's done it for 14 years so well. Clay Matthews, 3rd and 5. Elway with all day. Underthrows Vance Johnson.
Well, Michael Dean Perry was walking back 2 offensive linemen to that side and blocking his vision. Elway unable to get a good throw to the receiver. You'll see Michael Dean working here. And, I mean, here you'll see Kerr come out and help the tackle. But, I mean, he's walking back about 600 pounds there right into Elway's vision.
So the Browns ready to get it back. Webster Slaughter waiting for the Horan punt. They almost get to that punt. Plenty of room for Slaughter to work with. Nice open field tackle. That was the reserve tight end, Reggie Johnson, the rookie from Florida State who made the big play on the special teams. Here, right back. So Cleveland tied at 7. And now we do have a flag down on the play with 6:48 left in the first half.
We had some fisticuffs go for a second there, Joel. It's starting to get a little warmer than the temperature here.
The referee, Johnny Greer, sorting things out.
We have unsportsmanlike conduct, 36 Cleveland. The 15-yard penalty will be assessed from the end of the play. Time is out.
Well, Bill Belichick said they could not afford silly fouls, penalties like that. It's called on Stephen Braggs. They'll be deeper in their own territory when we come back. And it's tied at 7 at their own 25. Diving for a couple to the 27-yard line. Talking about Joe DeLamador, we spent some time with him yesterday, Dan. He has 4 children of his own, adopted 2 young Korean children, so 6 children now for the DeLamadors, and 5 others living with them. It's an incredible story. He's also the football coach for the high school team that won the state championship back in North Carolina. Now, he brought those children down here. I'd love to see that group at the dinner table.
Hey, you can see he's yawning. He must not be able to get much sleep with that kid.
2nd and 8 for Bernie, who's got time. It's always interesting to watch Bernie scramble, and it's a sack for Mecklenburg.
Well, Mecklenburg forced him, got the sack, but the guy that made the play possible was Craig in the nose guard. Bernie had drawn back, ready to throw, and you'll see Cragen right there in the middle. He's working on a double team there with the right guard, King. Now you'll see him jump. Now Kosar knows a batted ball is the last thing he wants. Tries to get out. Mecklenburg still with that, what he said, 4.9 blazing speed, able to run Kosar down. But, you know, I think that's something you have to be conscious about. We talked about it early. We said, hey, Denver can bat some balls now if they get their hands up. Well, they weren't. Now they went back to the sidelines. They talked to their coach. The coach says, hey, get those hands up. Created a bad play.
3rd and a dozen. screen, never develops, knifing through Michael Brooks. The inside linebacker who's paired along with Carl Mecklenburg. And the big hit for the loss at a punting situation for Cleveland.
Well, you know, Kosar is having a pretty good day. He's getting protection, but Denver's defense is just tough to score on. Here they try to run the screen. Brooks was mirrored up on the back. They had no chance with that play.
Hansen punting from back of his own 5. Sends out a spiral for Vance Johnson. He takes it to the 29. Good coverage downfield on the special teams. First one there, Richard Brown, the linebacker, former Los Angeles Ram, making the play for Belichick in Cleveland. So now it's Denver's turn. Still tied at 7.
Citizen ProMaster Diver's Chronograph. Digital depth sensor. Elapsed dive time.
Broncos have it back. First down from their own 37. And pressure on Elway, and Gaston Green can't come up with a low delivery.
Well, Michael Dean Perry got a little surge and got his hand up. Elway having to throw a little bit off balance. You'd be amazed how much you can affect a quarterback by just getting your hands up. You'll see 92 here in the senior screen. Perry getting in here. Now, watch that arm go up. Elway having to throw behind the receiver because of the arm. That's something that you have to think about as a defensive lineman. Getting to the quarterback's not at all. Get your hands up. Make something happen.
Michael Dean leads the Browns in sacks with 6. Deep drop. Pressure, and on his way down is Elway. James Jones with a big play.
Michael Dean Perry made this thing possible. Perry takes a good inside move. Then they have to block him with the running back. Jones able to come back up the middle after Elway had to buy a little time. So you get a guy like Michael Dean Perry, like we said earlier, you can put some guys out there that never played and make something happen. 92 Perry, you'll see, taking Kerr inside, drawing the running back over and opening up the chute for James Jones to come up the middle. Now you'll see Elway having to dance a little bit due to that surge up the middle, buying time for Jones.
And now it's 3rd and 15. Elway has Michael Young again, and he can't hang on inside the 40. It would have been an incredible diving grab.
It would have, because, you know, that's what Elway's so dangerous. I mean, you can get him rattled. You can make some things happen that he doesn't like, but he'll come back with a play like that. That was a perfectly thrown football. Guy's an amazing competitor. He doesn't always show up that great in stats and in the league ratings, but I'd hate to play him every week on 3rd and long.
Slaughter waiting for the punt from Mike Duran. Line drive wobbler. Flag down on the play. And a Cleveland roll outside of the 35. At the 37, it is finally touched down. Only a 30-yard punt by Haran. He's probably thinking about the last one where they almost blocked it. And is it going to be a hold against the Browns?
Holding, 36, receiving team, post-possession foul.
Well, normally that's one of those guys out there blocking those outside cover men. Braggs was probably out there one-on-one, or even a lot of times they'll try to double team those guys on the outside that are able to go at the snap. Because if you get those guys blocked, a lot of times you can create a good return because the other guys come in like in a second wave, some 12, 15, 18 yards behind those more or less point men that take off on the snap. So
tough start today, Dan, for Braggs. As we look at Jimmy Brown, Braggs with a couple of penalties now. And Jimmy Brown addressed the team last night before the entire group, the team meeting. 9-year career, leading the NFL in rushing 8 times. And Bill Belichick, a real historian of the National Football League, had asked Jimmy to come back, and worked out for Jimmy's schedule. Perfect timing for the Bronco game. Joe Morris on the carry for only a yard. Brought down by Brian Soche.
Well, Brooks got up in there in the one gap, which would be between the center and the right guard, and created a problem there. That's one reason Morris wasn't able to try to get something going. But that's what Denver's so good at. They're inside linebackers. Brooks, Mecklenburg, they're big and strong, and they create problems by getting up in those gaps, creating indecision into an offensive line. We'll see that all day.
Last year, some of the injuries to the defensive unit, Michael Brooks told us yesterday, we had safeties working on wide receivers. At times, we even had linebackers trying to keep up with wideouts. Second. 9. Bernie with time to look for a second receiver. It's Reggie Langhorne. And he spins away for a first down to the 40 of Denver.
Kozar gets protection. Boom. Big play.
Dan, it looked like he looked off the primary.
Well, here you'll see Kozar dropping back. They get it. Cragen stopped up the middle. Kozar pulls off of the primary receiver. Catches Langhorne on the crossing pattern. Underneath Dennis Smith, the safety, able to pop a big play for this Brown offense.
Tied at 7. 2 minutes, 35 seconds left in the first half. The blitz, and the linebacker, Jeff Mills, from the outside, subbing for the injured Mike Kroll, has the sack for Denver.
Well, he's playing today for Mike Kroll, the rookie, who has been sensational rushing the passer this year with 10 sacks. But Mills is a terrific linebacker himself. You'll see him coming off the right edge of that offensive line, able to get Kozar down. Now, that's great depth when you have a guy like Kroll go out and bring Mills in, and he makes big plays like this.
It's a loss of 10 yards, so we have reached the 2-minute warning, and it'll be 2nd and 20 when we come back for the Browns. Still in Bronco territory, tied at 7. Soggy turf here at Cleveland Stadium, especially between the two hash marks, and Dan, that's the way the Browns are combating the problem.
Oh, that's football. You gotta love it. Mud, blood, grit, spit. Hey, this is what it's about.
2-minute warning, a 2nd and 20 situation for Bernie and the Browns. Short gain over the middle. It's complete to the tight end Galbraith out of USC. He's in his 2nd season. He was a primary target frequently last Sunday in the 31-0 win over Indianapolis. Only 5 on that catch, though.
Well, Denver ran a play similar to the one that Mecklenburg was able to get pressure on Kozar early, and they picked it up with Max, so they're making good adjustments on that offensive front and in the backfield. Hal Hunter, the offensive line coach, has done a super job getting that offensive line ready each and every week this year.
Dime package in for Denver on 3rd and 15 from the 45. Bernie in trouble. Off the fingertips of Mack, and he was hit early by Dimry, the extra defensive back. What a break for Cleveland.
That's a huge break because it's an automatic first down.
Pass interference. 29 defense. First down.
See, now Charles Dimry has been a great addition to that Denver secondary, but here's where you got to be smart. Hey, just let him catch it, brand him pretty good, and then, I mean, you're off the field. You give him a first down. It doesn't matter. He's some 12, 15 yards short. That's not smart.
Automatic first down to the 41-yard line of Denver. Minute 15 left in the first half, and a timeout is called by the Broncos. We'll do the same from Cleveland Stadium. You think Dan Reeves is upset just a little bit? You better believe it after that last call against Dimry. We'll find out what the Browns do with another big opportunity in Denver territory. Yes.
Well, you'll see Reeves' reaction here. He says, "Hey, come on." That was way over his head. It was the moot point. But it looked like a catchable ball, and it did look like interference. But I can understand why Dimry was up there trying to make something happen. Let the guy catch it and tackle him. You're off the field.
Don't forget, coming up at halftime, Bob Costas, the NFL Live team, the Domino's Pizza NFL. Kozar out of the shotgun. Horde the only one in the backfield. 4 wideouts setting up. And Kozar gets Ron Holmes to jump. Did somebody move, though, on the left side of the offensive line?
I'm pretty sure Holmes just jumped off sides trying to anticipate the snap.
Encroachment. Defense. Still first down.
I was watching that left side. No one moved. I can't understand why Babb didn't snap it and let Kozar have a free shot. Yeah, you can see Mecklenburg, the right end, and Brooks, the right tackle. Excuse me, that'd be Ron Holmes, number 90. jumping off sides, trying to get a big rush here.
They're now 1st and 5 from the 36 of Denver. Pocket holds up for Bernie and overshoots Brian Brennan, who takes a shot at the end of the play from Randy Robbins.
Well, Ron Holmes, the guy that jumped off sides, was able to get some pressure. You'll see him get over here and swim. Rienstra, the left guard. Bernie could feel that. I mean, you talk about Bernie Kosar, and you think, hey, here's a guy, he's big, strong, and he's tall. Maybe not moves around that much, but he's really smart, and he has great awareness. He feels where to go in the pocket, get away from the rush. He felt that pressure and threw a bad ball.
Plenty of time, and all 3 timeouts left for Bernie and the Browns. 2nd and 5. Direct snap to Horde this time. They did it earlier to Mack and almost picked up a 30-yard first down. He's short by about a yard. And congratulations to Bernie Kosar. What a week it's been for Bernie and his wife Babette. The arrival of Sarah.
This guy is such a competitor, Joel. You know, he said the day that his wife gave birth, the first thing he thought was, hey, this is Thursday. We work on the nickel packages. I can't miss Thursday. You know, and here's something great happening in his life. And he was still, you know, worried about the game of football. He's really, truly a special player for this Cleveland team.
He said, isn't it funny the way we're all creatures of habit? Here I am at the hospital with my wife and our newborn girl, our very first, came into the world at 6-week premature, and it's great news. She's doing real well at the hospital. But he said, boy, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking footage and film and Thursday and getting ready.
He says, hey, I got to get there to practice. Come on, Doc. How long will this take?
3rd and a yard. Horde, big hole up the middle. He's got the first down. Will they use a timeout now? Yes, they're first. So the Browns have 2 remaining and a first down at the Denver 29. Don't forget the drive kept alive by the interference call on Dimry.
There you saw the offensive line do a good job of caving down that defense. Those linebackers had walked up in there. Rienstra, the left guard, doing a good job caving Mecklenburg down, able to hit a seam right off of his rump for the first.
Is that the practice squad leaving the field right now? First down from the 29 of Denver. It's tied at 7. Time for Bernie Hall. Read so well, though, by Brian Sauché.
Sauché's a guy that they picked up, and they feel real fortunate to have him. Very similar to Cragen, a guy that it means a lot to him. He's always out there banging around. He's a player that Denver really feels good with, playing over there on that left side where they've had some injuries. We'll take a look at it here. Bernie setting up the double screen. He looks left and comes back to the right, but Sauché sniffed it out.
And what a turnaround for Wade Phillips, the defensive coordinator, and his group this year. After all the injuries last year where they had safeties playing on the corner, and now he's been mentioned as a possible head coaching candidate to replace Dave McWilliams down at the University of Texas.
Well, I just think he's done such a great job with the talent that he's had. You know, a lot of times coaches will say, hey, we play a 4-3. I need this. Well, he's done a great job of adapting his schemes and game plans to the guys that he's got healthy and the guys that they've drafted. He's got some additions this year in the draft, and Kenny Walker, and of course he's got those great safeties. But I just think the great stat about their defense is in 3 games they have not allowed a touchdown, and in 6 other games they've only given up 1 touchdown. Now, when you're playing that kind of defense, you're going to have a team that's going to win an awful lot of games.
I loved it when we asked Carl Mecklenburg about the defensive unit and what about the difference in last year. Well, Mecklenburg was on the outside last year, and he started laughing. He goes, I'm not an outside linebacker. You know it. I know it. I'm happy back on the inside. 2nd and long. 2nd and 16. Langhorne can't hang on. Intercepted by Dimry. Charles Dimry, the big playmaker against Kansas City, returned to pick for a touchdown, comes up with the interception off the fingertips of Langhorne.
Well, that's poetic justice, because he was the one that let the Browns continue their drive with that interference call. Now he comes up with the big play. Simon Fletcher was able to get some heat on Kosar that time, creating a pass that was a little bit hurried.
now Denver with an opportunity to put some points on the board. They still have 2 timeouts remaining. They get the ball back at their own 35-yard line.
I'm not real sure exactly what the official's doing out there. He's got some kind of a call he wants to make, or has made. Here you'll see Kozar getting a little bit of pressure and not able to throw the ball out to the right of Langhorne. Behind him, usually you see when a receiver tips the ball, it's an interception.
4 wide receivers for Elway. It's tipped up into the air as it was Eric Turner coming up the back of Ricky Nattiel. And Braggs the closest one to that one.
Well, Eric Turner is their first-round draft pick, and they really like this kid. But Eric says, hey, you know, I know I'm going to be a great player against the run, but experience is the only thing keeping me from being a great player against the pass. And I think he's gaining experience very quickly, and by the end of this year, he'll be about as good as you can find around this league.
Elway has now missed his last 4. Looking at 2nd and 10 from the 35. Flushed out. Matthews has him for the sack.
Once again, it's the old pros making the big plays. Michael Dean flushes him. Clay Matthews, always rolling around the ball, makes the sack.
Dan, last week we saw Bubba Paris, who's overweight and really played himself out of the game to a certain extent. Here's Clay Matthews, who's always stayed in shape.
Well, that was a twist there. The tackle, Michael Dean Perry, split the guard tackle gap. He gets a great surge. Those tackle and guard combination, they don't like that. They start giving ground. Clay Matthews comes up underneath, able to get the sack.
A starter since the 1979 season, Clay Matthews with the big play, and Elway and the Broncos let the clock run out to close the first half. So what we expected coming over to Cleveland Stadium, a very tight physical affair, and it's exactly that. A 7-7 game between the Denver Broncos and the Cleveland Browns. Elway got it going early, but some adjustments by Belichick and the Browns defense shut him down completely in the second quarter. Be back with the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report after a word from the National Football League and a message from your local Lynn James. Wait for the kickoff from David Treadwell. And you see they're up close because Treadwell has been going with the short kickoffs, trying to pin the return men to the boundaries, the sidelines. This time down the middle from the 10, it'll be Lynn James, the former Bengal. And that seam closed in a hurry at the 25-yard line. Randy Robbins, the extra defensive back in their dime package. The first one down there as we look at the Coors Light halftime stats, almost identical, Dan.